What's up, Lil? Yeah. And living there talking head. Coming to you live with Daigo and VRified Games. How we doing, Daigo?
Hey Ed, how's it going?
Oh, it's pretty good, my man. Pretty good. Yeah. Had ourselves a little break, but we're back in it. Back in the VR. And when I say back in the VR, I mean it. Isn't that right?
I have calculated every move you can possibly make. Every outcome. They all end with your demise. No one defies the scientist supreme, and none can stand against the mighty Thanos and the masters of evil.
Quantum relay has been activated. You will need to protect it.
That's right, Ed, we're quite literally back in VR, and what we mean by that is it's a VR game that was discontinued, it was gone, lost forever, you could never play it again.
Think you can handle this?
But we're back in it. That is Marvel Powers United VR.
Yeah. Preach, homie.
Alright, so what is this all about? Okay. So way back in the day, in the early days of commercial VR, when things were starting to heat up, you had Oculus CV1, you had HTC Vive, and they were going head to head. Those were the big names in the VR scene. And you had, Oculus Studios, and you had Steam VR on each respective platform. Now,
That's a hit.
if you think Oculus Store today, or Meta Store, or whatever it's now called, it's kind of a mess. On the PC side of things, it's kind of a mess. There's no curation whatsoever. Anyone and their sister can upload it on there. Yeah, that wasn't the case back in the day. The Oculus Store had this huge, high bar
Entry download complete. Lockjaw will teleport the relay out.
that you had to meet before your game was even considered
Each shot count.
to be in the Oculus Store. So therefore, all the Oculus Store games behind that walled garden were of such a high caliber and such a high degree that really set Oculus apart.
Enough! We will put an end to your heroics now. Send in the next assault force and wipe them out!
Lockjaw is teleporting in another relay.
From HTC Vive, because way back then Steam VR curation was kind of like Oculus Store is now. There was none on Steam VR. Anyone could put vaporware on there, and yeah, not the case with Oculus Store back in the day. Now, one such game was this absolute powerhouse which carried the name Marvel behind it. Okay, it had the brand name, it had the license, it had the backing of Disney, and for the time it was quite popular. Marvel Powers United was an Oculus exclusive game. You could only get it on the Oculus Store. It was multiplayer, and if I was to think of a game that it plays alike, very similar to Asgard's Wrath in terms of gameplay.
Consider it a parting gift.
It was from a first-person perspective, and you could be one of the Marvel superheroes. So if you can imagine, there are many people who've never played this back when it was available. But if you can imagine Asgard's Wrath, but with Wolverine's claws, or
You're on my list.
Captain America throwing the shield, Spider-Man shooting webs, this is what it was. Absolutely fantastic, and it was multiplayer to boot. So you could get on there with your friends. You could relive your kind of childhood role-playing superhero adventures that you used to do in the schoolyard. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, but what happened, man? What happened? Tell us about the travesty.
Yeah. So come 2020, the game gets delisted. Basically, the license expired. They could no longer use Marvel Disney, or well, put it another way they could, but they'd have to pay for the license extension, and they were not willing to do that. So as a result, cost-cutting initiative, whatever you want to call it, the game was delisted. You could no longer download it. You could no longer play it. If you had this game in your library already and you went to play the thing, it would not work because it required an entitlement check.
This is not possible! I will not let that shield generator fire, or your plans succeed! Your time is at an end!
Or access to the internet to the servers, and they were no longer there. So yeah, it was essentially gone as of 2020. It was an absolute shame. And this has happened with other games like Echo Arena and things like that. It was an absolute travesty.
Once the shield generator is deployed, you will need to retrieve the power cells to power it up.
So that's it. No more Marvel fix. We were done. Oh well.
Yeah, but Weaver guys, you're gonna love this.
Yeah. Come 2024, and we bring you the Marvel Powers United Revival. Okay? Now, what this aims to do is Well, as the name suggests, bring back Marvel Powers United, the VR that we can all play. Now, currently multiplayer does not work. It doesn't. You can play any of the single player campaigns, but it's not as straightforward as it sounds. You need to use something called Universal Unreal Unlocker. It's this program, okay? And it allows you to kind of basically look under the hood of Unreal Engine games. All well and good, but what this allows us to do is bypass any entitlement check and load up a single player level.
I see you.
Now to do that you have to use the debug console. That UUU or Universal Unreal Unlocker allows you to access thanks to the program. Now that sounds overly complicated. It's not. It's really, really simple. And I'm going to link in the description. I'll link to the Discord page. And on there you can find all the information that you need in order to get this up and running, which is basically 2 pieces of software. The game itself. Now hint hint, nudge nudge, if you don't own this game yourself, there are ways to get it. And yeah, just go to the Discord and carefully read the get started page. That's all I'll say. And it'll also tell you how to go about setting up your game and getting it to run to play any single player level. So it's as simple as this really. You have the software downloaded, load up your game, load up the Universal Unreal Unlocker, attached to the DLL. Okay, press the tilt key on your keyboard and then type open followed by the name of the level you want to load. You can get all of that information on the Discord, all the different level names, etc. Now, for some people, I get it, that's a pain in the ass, there's some hurdles you got to go through. That won't always be the case. The core concept behind Marvel Powers United Revival is to restore as much, if not all, functionality of the original game. That is the end goal, and they made huge strides already on their Discord page. You can see some people are putting together a private server so you can play multiplayer again. There's even a handy launcher tool which negates the use of Universal Unreal Unlocker and just leaves everything to one menu, which is fantastic. However, at the moment it's quite buggy, so it's recommended you use the method I've already described of using the Universal Unreal Unlocker to get your game up and running. But once you do all of that, you guys, once you do all that, you're in the world of Marvel superheroes. And as you would expect from those earlier Oculus Store games, the caliber is high, okay? The quality is high. This is a premier AAA style game. Even now, at 6 years old, this game still holds up with VR games that are out today. It can stand shoulder to shoulder with Asgard's Wrath, in my opinion. Now, yes, there is some criticism leveled towards the gameplay that it can be repetitive, yada yada, but where this really shines, and it'll come later with the Revival project, was the multiplayer section, when you could get in there with your friends and you could just role play the shit out of it. You could be the Marvel superheroes. That's where it really shined. Yeah, so that's it. We just had to bring this to your guys' attention. Marvel Powers United is back. You can play it. If you don't have Oculus,
Generator has been hit.
you can still play with Revive. Absolutely fantastic. Join the Discord.
Retrieve the power cells.
Watch the progress of the project. New features are being added all the time. The functionality is being restored day by day. This is something special, you guys. This is video game preservation at its finest. This is what happens when a group of dedicated fans get together and fight back against this whole digital world where you don't own your games anymore. They can be taken from you at any time. Bullshit. They looked at that, they cried, bullshit. We're going to bring this back to the masses. So hats off to the team.
Don't get too cocky.
At Marvel Powers United Revival, stick it to the man.
Yeah, stick it to the stick what to the man.
Yep. Okay. So I guess we're going to leave it there, you guys. Like, comment, and subscribe. If you've any thoughts, queries, any critiques, put them down below. If indeed there are any games you'd like us to look at VRifying in the future, put those down below, and we will presumably get back to you eventually. You can also follow us on TikTok for our adventures over there, which are basically condensed versions of what we do over here. And yeah, follow us on all social medias. All links will be in the descriptions. Yeah, looking forward to seeing you there also. Alright, VRified Games out.